Just as Tabitha was beginning to get sad and angry again, thinking about what she should have done and whether she was right or wrong, the music from across the clearing grew louder and the dancers began to hoot and holler. It grabbed her attention. "Why are those people dancing over there?" she asked with her mind back on the situation at hand. "We don't usually dance in the middle of the streets where I'm from." A young girl about Tabitha's age with neon pink hair and wearing a purple polka dot dress skipped up to them. She stopped and smiled up at Tabitha. "Oh, they're practicing for our annual Funkernick Festival. There's always a big show." She tugged on Bornadin's sleeve. "Daddy, I got all my lines right today for the first time." Bornadin patted the girl on the head. "My daughter, Kishnai, she's performing in a play for the festival." He gave Kishnai a big grin. "That's great, honey." Tabitha reached out a finger for the little girl to shake. "Nice to meet you, Kishnai. So, what's this Funkernick Festival?" Bornadin began to get excited. He loved telling stories. "Funkernick is the time when we celebrate our ancestors first arriving in Grenosha." His eyes grew as big as saucers and his hands began to act out the tale. They had been wandering for generations, facing incredible dangers in their search for a place to call home. Many lost their lives being crushed by falling tree branches or attacked by vicious animals like the squibbers, with their long, sharp claws and those horrible meowing sounds. Kishnai gasped in fear. She had only seen one squibber in her life, and it was terrifying. But Tabitha wasn't scared at all. "Oh, you mean cats," she corrected. "I think they're cute. I want one, but my dad is allergic to them." But then she imagined herself the size of a grenagot and felt bad. I suppose they would seem much bigger and scarier to you, though." Mardicus glared at Tabitha, furious. "The squibbers were far from cute. My family line was almost erased by them. I'm lucky to be alive. Why you?" "Anyway," interrupted Bornadin, "after years of traveling, they came upon this clearing, and they knew it was the perfect spot. They could build a community, and the space was wide open so they could easily spot the squibbers and anything else that came along." All of a sudden, an even little person with peacock blue hair dashed by, arms flailing wildly in panic. "They're coming! They're coming! Save yourself! Find shelter now!" he screamed. "What's coming?" Tabitha asked. "The cats? I mean, the squibbers?" Bornadin looked towards the western sky, worried. "No. Worse, the Nidos. They show up when the weather gets hot. We have lost so many of our people because of them. My dear wife, Kishinai's mother included. She was swept up and never heard from again." He held his daughter close to him, but didn't want to make her any more afraid than she already was. "That would be awful to lose your mother," Tabitha thought. She didn't even want to imagine what that would be like. She lifted her gaze to the sky and could see white, black, and red funnel clouds, about 10 of them appearing out of the trees, blowing into the clearing and heading towards the village. They were spinning with tremendous speed, and while they didn't reach any higher than Tabitha's waist, she could see how dangerous they would be for the tiny grenagots. "We get things like that where I'm from, but not a whole bunch at a time," she remarked. Mardicus gasped and leaped straight up in the air without any warning. "Marilyn! I have to reach Marilyn!" He turned to run, but Bornadin grabbed his arm. "It's too far and too dangerous to go all the way across the village. The Nados are already here. We have to find a safe place and hope for the best for our families." Tabitha thought for a moment, then realized she was wearing the perfect hiding spot. "I'm big enough so the Nados can't hurt me. You can hide in my pockets. You should be safe there." Tabitha picked up Mardicus, Bornadin, and Kishinai and placed them in the front pocket of her green dress. The 2 men poked their heads out just above the fabric so they could still keep an eye on what was happening. Tabitha could see little people of the village being sucked up into the Nados, and their little cries for help terrified her. She picked up a few more people close by her, and she wished there were more she could save. But she couldn't fit the entire village in her dress pocket, and moving any further into the clearing could be just as dangerous. "This is terrible," Tabitha said. "I feel just awful. Now I wish I was still at Caitlin's party." Kishinai poked her head out of Tabitha's pocket and looked up at her with a curious expression. "What's a birthday?" "It's the time when you celebrate the day you were born." "My birthday is March 7th. Mardicus searched his brain for a moment while he scratched his head, but he didn't understand. March. Never heard of it. I don't think any of us remember when we were born. We don't really keep track of the days here. So is this what you were doing all your thinking about? Is that what got you all flustered and made you step on Shamabus's house? Quiche and I gasped. Gosh and golly, you stepped on Uncle Shamabus's house? She looked down at the ground and noticed bits of broken twigs and crumpled leaves picking out from under Tabitha's feet. I thought something was missing. Bornadin loved a good party. Why wouldn't you want to be at a party? Tabitha lowered her head a little. My little sister wanted me to sing happy birthday to her, she answered shyly, embarrassed to admit her petty little problem while such terror was befalling the Grenegat people. Bornadin still couldn't make sense of it. But we sing here all the time. Singing is my favorite thing, Kishnai exclaimed. Yeah, what's the problem with this happy birthday song? Mardicus asked. Does it conjure up some nasty monsters or something? How does it go? Well, you know, and Tabitha started to sing. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear. She stopped suddenly and put her hand in front of her mouth when she heard the sound of her voice, remembering that she had not wanted to sing. Mardicus gazed up at the sky and shouted at Tabitha. No, don't stop. Do that again. Tabitha shook her head in resistance. No, I'm not singing. Just do it again and watch the sky. Tabitha's head was swimming again. Should she remain silent? She did promise herself she wouldn't sing anymore, but she was curious as to what Mardicus was talking about. What was he seeing in the sky? Well, do it, Mardicus commanded again impatiently, stomping his foot. Hurry before more people die. What? Tabitha thought. I can't be responsible for people dying. What is going on? As much as Tabitha wanted to keep her mouth shut, her compassion and curiosity got the better of her, and she started the song again. Mardicus, Bornadin, Kishanai, and the other villagers in Tabitha's pocket stood there with their mouths gaping open. Tabitha was dumbfounded, too. After the second happy birthday to you, the nados had already stopped spinning and started moving further towards the trees, away from the village. Tabitha kept singing while the distance between them and the nados got bigger and bigger until they disappeared. Mardicus pointed a finger up at Tabitha. You're singing. It chased them away. She had seen it, but she didn't believe it. No, it didn't. How is that possible? I don't know, but your voice is like magic. For the longest time, Tabitha had thought her voice was awful, and here was Mardicus telling her it was somehow magical. How could that be? Gosh and golly, you must stay with us forever and protect us from the nados, Bornadin declared, as though that were a perfectly reasonable solution to their problem. Now that the threat was gone, Tabitha took the Grenegats out of her pocket and placed them back on the ground. But I can't stay here, she explained, feeling bad that she had to let them down. I have my own home outside the woods. She pointed in the direction she thought her house would be in, though she wasn't quite sure anymore. I should really be getting back there now, as a matter of fact. Just then, Mardicus picked a leaf off the ground and shaped it into a cone. He faced the large end towards the village and spoke into the small end. Attention, villagers! This girl here has saved us from the nados, but now she wants to abandon us. We must make sure she cannot leave Grenosha.